Welcome to Breakfast with Bob. This is our Boston Marathon edition. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're presented to you by Hyland's Leg Cramps. Stop the cramps, not your race, and the NormaTec Pulse Recovery System. Our next guest, Mr. Fred Schenck, 2:27:37, first time running back here in Boston for over a decade.
Yeah.
How you doing, Fred?
I'm doing just fine, thanks.
Thanks so much for taking time. But so take me back. You were a wrestler growing up?
Yes, yeah, I wrestled through high school and went to college and wrestled in college.
And where?
At East Stroudsburg State in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as a wrestler, you were a heck of a runner.
I used to have to wrestle at 118 pounds, so I was running all the time to lose weight.
And you turned out to be a better runner than a wrestler?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And what got you into, when did you realize that running would be a good sport for you?
In the early, mid-'70s,
Yeah.
I was intrigued by some people that had run the Boston Marathon and was reading an article in the paper
Yeah.
at work and thought that I would be able to do something, and was challenged by one of my coworkers that I might not be able to do such a thing. So we made a bet.
$5.
$5 in 1976, and I said in 1977 I'd be in the race, and I was, and that was my very first one.
And how'd you do?
Oh gosh, I was way back. But back then we started in Hopkinton, and there were only about 3,000 runners starting, and we were on a side street. And it was my first experience, and I ran like a 3:04, I think. And but it was such an experience that coming down here on Boylston
Yeah.
Street at the finish and hearing the thunder, the crowd, I had never experienced anything like it, and I just had to keep coming back.
But your running got better and better.
Oh, much better, yeah.
Yeah, and so when you went and you won the Philadelphia Marathon overall.
Yeah, in '88.
88, you won Philadelphia. What was your best race here in Boston?
I ran a 2:28 in 1985 and placed 25th.
25th is pretty high.
Well, it was a goal of mine, since I was setting goals at the time, that I would place in the top 100 in Boston.
Okay.
And it happened that year was a very, very hot year, and a lot of people had gone out too hard too early. And I had a very good pace throughout that race. I was running about a 5:38 to 5:40 almost the whole time.
Yeah.
And I just held that all the way through. And some of those fellows that were going out too hard too early, they just started coming back.
I love that. There was a point where you would qualify for Boston, right? But you had lost your job and you weren't going to run.
Yes.
But your dad had a different idea.
He did. In 1977, for the very first one, I had qualified in the Philadelphia Marathon.
Yeah.
But right before, my first daughter had been born, and I was laid off from my job a week later. And so I thought there was no way that I could afford to go, and there was
Sure.
a lot more stuff going on at home. And my father told me I was full of crap and I was going to go and run that race, and we're going up. So that was it. And he dragged me up here. I ran the race, and I was hooked ever since. Yeah.
And after you won, when you won in Philadelphia, because people now see people making $350,000 for winning races. What did you get? What was your check?
My check.
Yeah, for winning Philly.
They paid no money.
Nothing, zero.
Nothing, zero.
Yeah. So it wasn't like you could make a living as a runner back then.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I don't think I got any money until shortly after that. And I earned like $300 placing third in the Johnstown Marathon. And, it wasn't until Frank Shorter came along
Yep.
and set up how you could incorporate your name and start making money as a runner.
Right.
Even the menial amounts that they were paying at that time were
Right.
really chump change compared to what gets paid today.
Big time.
But you couldn't collect anything. You couldn't get paid anything, not even for expenses.
So we were chatting a little earlier, and you mentioned that you've done more cross-training.
Oh,
and you
yes.
weren't even planning to come back to qualify for Boston, but getting into the little bit of the triathlon lifestyle is gotten rid of some of the aches and pains?
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, my workload hasn't been so much. I've been working as a consultant, so I'm pretty much in charge of my own time.
Yes.
But really, the cross-training makes a whole difference in your total physical fitness.
Right.
I think. So that you don't need to log so many hard miles in on the road, where the cross training gives you the aerobic fitness,
Yes.
and you feel better, totally better all the time.
And you're 65 years old now. And
Yes.
I tell people all the time, the orthopedic reality is every runner needs to become a cyclist at some point, right? After you get to 50, 55, you're not running faster, but you can become a better triathlete. You
Absolutely.
can get better in the other
Oh, yes, I truly believe
So
that.
this is the beginning of your athletic career, basically. Now,
Well,
next thing you know, you'll be doing Ironman.
Well, that's my next goal.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
I love that.
Depending on how I do here this weekend,
Yes.
it will tell me whether or not I still have the fortitude to be able to take the training to prepare myself for an Ironman.
Yes.
I believe that I have prepared myself properly for this race,
Yes.
because I was using a formula that I had used many years ago when I was competitive, and I want to see if it still works for me. And if it does, that means I have enough time in my daily schedule that I can probably train for an Ironman. Yeah.
The other thing that was amazing to me is that you cross-trained until the last couple months.
Right.
And then went back full on running. And
Right.
did you stay healthy? And you were saying 90, 100 miles a week?
Yeah, through March. Yeah.
But you were able to, because of the base you'd built through some cross-training.
No, and I have been using the NormaTec boots.
Yes.
And I have used the cross training and doing a lot more stretching than I did when I was younger, and I felt great. It was better. I used to go down the stairs in my house when I was in my 30s, holding on to both banisters in the morning just to get down the stairs.
Aches and pains,
Right.
stiff.
The first mile would be like 9 or 10 minutes.
Right.
Just to get going. Not anymore.
Yes.
And I'm 30 years older.
So you're feeling better now.
Much better. Every day.
The benefits of NormaTec and cross-training.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
And what's your goal on Monday?
Well, if I make it under 4 hours and qualify for next year, then I'll definitely start training for something like Chattanooga.
For triathlon.
Yes.
Because next year is going to be World Championships at Ironman 70.3 in
Exactly.
Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny? You're 65 and you have more goals than ever before.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm telling you, I got really wired last year when I came here to visit,
Yes.
watch the race, see the triathlon induction ceremony.
Yes, the Hall of Fame.
It
Yeah.
got me pumped.
Love that. Fred, thanks so much, man. Really a pleasure to meet a fellow 65-year-old. Fred Schenck has been a guest again. We are brought to you by Hyland's Leg Cramps. Stop the cramps, not your race. And the NormaTec Pulse Recovery System. My name is Bob Babbitt. Hold on. We'll be right back.